welcome to Atlantic TV. I am Usman Sedikan. On Pressure Room today we have Honorable Omar Jobe, the National Assembly member for Niani Constituency. Honorable, you are welcome to Pressure Room.
Yeah, thank you very much, Usman. It is a pleasure to be here. I think I first of all have to apologize for giving series of appointments, but it's today that God said that it is going to be reality. So it's a pleasure to be here, Usman.
All right, thanks. So, Honorable, to begin with, the NAMs have received their multi-million dollars vehicles after so much criticisms from the masses, and you have also received yours. So, how do you feel receiving your vehicle after so much criticism?
Yeah, thank you very much, Usman. First of all, I will say good afternoon to all viewers of Atlantic Media TV. Good afternoon to Honorable Kote and also the entire electorates of Nyani. Regarding the vehicles, there are so many talks regarding the vehicle issue. And sometimes I do see in media where they write 3.9 million. The vehicles are 2.5 million. And looking at the vehicles, it is on a loan scheme. And this loan scheme is a scheme that was approved by the 5th legislature. That's the National Assembly members that were there before, that the National Assembly members are entitled to have a loan scheme so that at least we'll able to get a vehicle. And looking at the vehicles, we are paying 1,250,000, and government is paying 1,250,000. So at the end of the day, it becomes your vehicle. So the cost of fuel and the cost of maintenance, everything is on our shoulders. It is not in the side of the government as well.
So people say your parliament is not considerate of the poor taxpayers for allocating yourself these vehicles.
Yeah, I do see comments on Facebook, but I always tell people that if you are in public places, you have to be open to criticisms. But looking at, we're not trying to cite ministers as an example, but it's like this is happening for the first time, as the Honorable Speaker said yesterday during the handing over, that the vehicles are not for luxury, but it is a necessity. Because we've seen often time when electorates want to see their NAMs, when National Assembly members want to reach their electorates, it is always a problem. I can see before getting a car, sometimes when there are funerals, they expect you to be there. When there are other activities, they expect you to be there. So how will you be in all those activities if mobility is not available for you?
So you were not having vehicle before this?
Yeah, I got one before getting this vehicle as well.
You are from a constituency where poverty is rift. Do you think your people, Nyani people, will be happy for you receiving a vehicle that is worth 2.5 billion and half of that would be paid by them?
Yeah, I think sometimes I was talking to my driver yesterday. I told him that anyway, it differ. I was even called by some of the people in Nyani advising me that you have to go and take the vehicle. Like the complaints that people, for them they understand, because when they said, I explained to them that we are paying half and government is paying half. Now looking at the ministers, when they are complaining about NAMS, National Assembly members, look at the ministers. They have their utility car, they have their official car. Government is maintenance in that, and government is giving them fuel. For us, the maintenance is on our soldiers, and the fuel also is on our shoulders as well. So this is just an official car it's an official car that is given to us. There is no utility car. The government is not giving us fuel. They are not giving us maintenance costs. So looking at the poverty in general, even whereas these vehicles are not purchased, and if you look at the purchase of the vehicle here, this is just an agreement that it is not directly dipped from the covers and pay. It's an agreement between the government. Thanks to the government for having that understanding and have that agreement with CFAO so that the vehicles can be purchased and NAMs are paying in bits. And Usman, just to tell you, we have been paying these vehicles. We started payment since last July. Almost 1 year has gone in the payment of the vehicle as well.
So, but what people are complaining about is the amount involved here. 2.5 million is too much, don't you think?
Yeah, 2.5 million dollars is in a car that worth it. I can say is not much, unless if the vehicle does not worth it. You know, sometimes in purchasing item also we also look at durability, because the vehicles are vehicles that you know that it can serve you for more than five years. NAMS the other time they were given vehicles, they were given pickup, but most of them their pickups cannot even survive the 5 years. So this was done by the fifth legislature. They said now they will come up with a loan scheme, and that loan scheme government will pay half and will even pay half. And Usman, if you look at it, the interesting part is that as long as I am paying, before the end of the 5 years, you will see the vehicle in good shape. But look at the other departments. Sometimes what we said is that is government property. No one cares that it is government property. So people use it anyhow they wish, they misuse it, because they know that when they leave that office, another person will come and the person will take over. So we even trying to encourage that this is something that should even be done in other departments, because once it happens, then people must take up the responsibility of taking care of their vehicles as well.
So you said you have consulted your people before.
Yeah, I consulted my people and I've also explained to them that this is how it happened. You know, it's only sometimes when you do not enlighten your people. They elected me in power. So when this thing happens, I told them that this is prior to the coming of the vehicles. They are purchasing, the fifth legislature have come up with a loan scheme that is already approved before us going to the assembly, before coming into power, that they're going to purchase these vehicles and we're going to pay 1,250,000, and government is also going to pay 1,250,000. But at the end of the day, the vehicle becomes yours. So every month we pay $22,134 as a deduction from the assembly.
So, Honorable, you were elected as an independent, and during the campaign, you said the people of Niani were lacking a lot of things, and you were the right candidate to solve their problems. So, since coming into power, what have you done visible in that constituency?
Yeah, thank you very much, Usman. I think it will really be a pleasure for me to talk about some of the developments that have been taking place in Niani. Normally, after the election, sometimes people complain. They said, like the clothing allowance that they give us. I think prior to all this, we were chatting on these agricultural issues and so on.
Sure.
So part of that money, I use it to invest on agriculture.
The constituency development.
No, not the CDF. This was the 100,000 for the clothing allowance.
Okay.
Remember, there was 100,000 one-off payment. When they said one-off payment, it means that for the 5 years, it is given only once. So what I started was, like, if you see, there are certain areas that I started constructing, not like as normal road or NRA can do, but there are certain parts that have a problem that during the rainy season, it is very difficult for them to pass through that particular area. I could remember giving 16 bags of cement to one of this particular village, and they come out as a form of teshito, and they work on that particular area, and the area is very fine now. It's roadworthy that they can pass, though it is not of standard, but it's like at least it's manageable for horse carts to pass, for them to get to the hospital and so on.
So clarification, you mean the 100,000 clothing allowance? You used it to maintain certain roads?
Yeah, I use it to, like, when we said road maintenance, like even if you want to calculate a kilometer, it may take millions of dollars. But part of that money, I use it to work on certain areas, like the cement that I told you that I bought for that particular community is from that money. And also, I also call for a community teshito, the road between Kataba, Omar, Wasu, and Kataba, Omar. Now, Usman, just to highlight before moving on, if you look at the roads in Niani, I always tell people that Niani is the only area that is not blessed with roads. We have only one highway that connects and passes through. Now, I come back to your question regarding the developments that has been taking place there. The first one was the CDF that you were just asking me about. That's the Constituency Development Fund. When they talk about the CDF, what I did was I went back to my area, have a meeting with my people, and told them that they are to give us 300,000 as CDF. And the beauty of this is that the money is not coming direct to you. You have to go and look for somebody based on the materials or the commodities or things that you need, and they will be paid to the account of that particular individual. So they all agree that we need to buy milling machines for women in Niani. And 3 milling machines were purchased, and all those milling machines are 2-in-1. And to tell you that still now those milling machines are in good condition. That was how I spent the CDF last time. And also looking at some of the interventions that I made, there are a series of interventions done with the help of HMD that is helping to make difference. It's a charitable organization that is a Gambian-based charity organization that is really helping. It's really helping my community. Because last Ramadan alone, they were able to support me with 100 bags of rice, 100 gallons of oil, sugar, with dates for the most needy ones in the community. And the beauty of it is that there are certain households that we reach. They even confess to us that if it was not this rice or this sugar or this oil, we even find it very difficult for us to cook our meal today.
So, Honorable, sources tell us that the condition of the Kuntawur Health Center is deplorable. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I'm fully aware because not long ago, less than 2 weeks, I have donated some materials to Kuntauru with the help of this HMD, helping to make difference charity foundation. We've donated some wheelchair scratches and beds and commons to Kuntaur Health Center. And if I scroll in my phone, I can even tell you that I had a conversation with the minister less than 4 or 5 days ago regarding the condition of the hospital, because that's the only hospital that is serving the 87 villages in that area. Definitely something positive need to be done in that particular area.
Yes, and at one of the Parliament's adjourned debates, you mentioned, you submitted to the Speaker that there was time, this was the time we lost a lady who was rushed to Bansang Hospital as a result of cervical tear after giving birth. So what was what have you done?
Yeah, when I was told about the issue, I went to, normally before adjournment debates, I go around my area trying to find out what are some of the burning issues, what are some of the issues that are affecting my area. So when I heard of this case, I went to the hospital, tried to have a contact with the former OIC, and he told me everything. We need community ambulance. The community ambulance that we have in that area is not enough. Uh, because there are people that covered 7 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers in order for them to reach the hospital. Just imagine what happened to this lady is that she was on a donkey cart moving to Kundaur Health Center, and she gave birth on the highway. So that pressure and movement and the bad road condition, she developed cervical tears. So when they went to Kuntaur, it was difficult for them to manage the situation. So they decided to rush her to Bansang. So in that rushing her to Bansang, they contacted Lamin Koto for them to cross them, but they said they have closed from work. And that case, I've taken up to the director of ferry service. He was aware. I informed him that there is something that needs to be done in that crossing, because they shouldn't close for any time for the ambulance. Anytime the ambulance come, they need to cross that particular guy. So they were trying to use a long road that is going through Dobo, then Bansang Bush Town. So in the middle of the river, that was where the lady died.
So the lab at Kuntawur Health Center is not also working?
Yeah, the lab there, I spoke to Minister not long ago. They're trying to have a blood bank there. It is the theater that I want it to be functional. We have the best theater in the country if you have doctors. But it's like we must also put motivational forces that will motivate these doctors for them to be there, for them to stay, in order for them to do their operations and so on. We have a lot of materials. I visited the lab not once, not twice. Anytime I go to Niani, I hardly come without visiting the hospital, because when I'm there at home, most of the time in labor cases, I use my vehicle to transport them to the hospital for delivery and so on.
So this will take us back to the vehicles.
Yeah.
Don't you think at least half of that amount that the taxpayers are going to pay can be used to solve those problems at that hospital?
Yeah, as I told you earlier on, this was done by the 50th legislature. If it was in our time, then we will able to say something about it. But this is something that is already approved, and we made it there. So there was nothing that we can do about it. But just as I told you right now, the vehicle is also serving the entire people of Niani. Because when I'm there, sometimes I go to the hospital at 2 o'clock. I do tell them that anytime there is labor cases, especially in the village or within the area, if I'm aware, I always tell my driver, go and pick this guy, take the person to the hospital. So you can see that even if it is from the taxpayers' money, and it's my personal car, we are all benefiting, Osman, from this.
And in that adjourned debate too, you said Niani is second to none when it comes to loyalty to the ruling government, and you were elected as an independent. Are we seeing you defecting to the government? I mean, the ruling party?
Yeah, normally, constitutionally, independent candidates are not allowed to defect or to move on to any other political party. Once you announce it, it means then you have to go in for by-election as well. But when it comes to support, you have to support either the ruling government or you support the oppositions. We see independent candidates that are supporting NPP. We see independent candidates that are supporting UDP. We also see independent candidates. Sometimes when it comes to voting and you are not interested of voting, you have the right to match out that you don't want to vote on that matter as well. So moving to a political party constitutionally, it is not allowed.
It's not allowed, but are we seeing you supporting the government just to get that support? I mean, help so that your people, the constituency, can benefit from the government?
Yeah, normally what I did after election is that I called for a general meeting. I told them that I am elected as an independent candidate. So normally, I asked my people, I told them that in the parliament, you either vote for the ruling government or you vote for the independent for the oppositions, and they have told me where they want me to vote when it comes to voting. So that is why, Usman, even if I vote with the ruling party, if the entire world insulted me and the people of Niani who elected me didn't insult me, I'm still okay with that.
So what did they tell you to ask you to vote?
When I talked to them, they told me that for them, when they were bringing us as an independent candidate, they know it was based on the selection that I don't need to go back to. Hence, it is passed. As I always tell people, that bygone be bygone.
Okay.
But when I asked them, they told me that for us, if it is our choice and we voted for you, we want you to support the ruling government. We are not asking you to move or to defect and say that you are no more an independent candidate. I still have my independent cap. There are certain issues when it comes and I feel that it is not of interest of the country. I don't look at that. I vote for something that favors the country. Anything that I feel that it favors the country and it favors the citizen of Niani, even if it favors the entire country and it does not favors the citizens or the people of Niani, I will still vote against it, Osman.
So Niani is your priority?
Niani is my priority. It's my home, it's my priority.
What are we seeing? What is in the pipeline for the Niani people? What are you preparing for?
Yeah, Niani people, as I told you, I just started listing some of the developments that we have been doing. And I didn't even finish that because right now with the same charitable organization, HMD, they've extended their hands, Home for Gambia. Right now they have already completed 3 homes for the most needy people that you know that if I even show you their photos, you know that their houses cannot survive this rainy season. So when we were doing that, it was not based on politics because sometimes we even construct homes for people that you know that they were not even supporting me when I was an independent candidate. But I always believe that not everyone can support you. So you must have people who will support and you also must have other people who will not also support you as well. So 3 new homes has already been built and 2 are also on construction that I'm hoping that in the next 1 or 2 weeks it will be completed. It's all as a result of the support of the HMD that I am telling you is a charitable organization in the Gambia that I'm even calling for even government to give them their support because I feel that they are doing very well. And those homes, after building those homes, they've also started a mosque for me. That the mosque is already completed. And I'm now waiting for the CDF. When it comes also, it's also going back to the people of Niani as well.
So let's talk about the government, I mean, countrywide now.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the government. Do you think it's going the right direction?
Yeah, normally when we talk about government, we cannot take out ourselves from government. You and I cannot take out ourselves from government. You know, sometimes, most of the time, people even blame the president and say that the president this, the president that. But it's just like Usman, if you are a compound head now, you cannot know everything that is going in the compound. And even if you follow a herd of cattle in the bush, you must have others that will go astray. You have others that will take another direction. There are people, in fact, what is more important here is for the workers, those working for the country, to have the country at heart. Once we have the country at heart, in the department, in the areas that we are working, then we will not have any problem. When you look at politics generally, government is open to criticisms. You will have people who will criticize and say government is not going in the right direction. But I believe that even if you give me the seat today, the next minute people will criticize me. If they give it to you today, the next minute people will also criticize you. So I didn't feel anything bad on how the government is faring on. It depends on, sometimes it could be yesterday I was discussing with somebody. Somebody told me that the issue of the local council, like the area council, he was even citing an example in one of the councils that I don't want to mention, where they said they bought a 10 bags of rice for almost $4 million.
That's Mansakongo Area Council.
So the government might not actually be aware. The president might not actually be aware. But what we can do is that, as National Assembly members, we perform oversight functions. And when we are performing oversight functions, we give recommendations to government, but we cannot implement, we cannot act. We can only do our findings, write our recommendations, table it, discuss it, see what went wrong on the recommendations, what are some of the areas that we need to add there, and send it to the government for them to carry on as well.
So what's your view of the unconstitutional change of government in Niger?
Yeah, the unconstitutional change there, most of the time, when it comes to coup d'etat, we may call it, is an unlawful attempt of government. It is something that is unconstitutional, and something that is not constitutional cannot be constitutional until when it is put in the constitution. So no matter what, coup d'etat in general is condemned in all African states, and the ECOWAS should take their means of getting the power back and handing it over to the former president as well. There was a news that I was reading that someone was said is diplomacy failed, force must be applied. But like Usman, if I have your child with me now and you want to attack me now, how are you going to do it? It's going to be very hard. So I will still urge for the diplomacy to continue rather than fighting and so on. Because if we look at African countries, we are not rich in minerals, we are not rich in other sources. So when there is war, there must be outsiders that you know that they are only interested of looting what is in the country, and they will go out with it. They are not staying that with the country. And the aftermath of war also is something that we also need to look at as a state.
Do you know the cost of coups in Africa? Is it because of no term limits? I mean, presidents staying in power for so long?
Yeah, sometimes if you look at the reasons for military intervention in politics, like there's one of this. You know, I was a teacher. I taught before going to parliament, and I was teaching a government that we call a subject that we call government. There, it's going to tell you more about the reasons for military intervention in politics. It might be various reasons. The reasons for the intervention in Niger could be different from that of Nigeria. It could be different from Gambia. It could be different from Senegal as well. But mismanagement of funds could be a reason as well. Overstay in power could be a reason as well. You know, sometimes people used to say term limits. That's where I will see someone even ask me that, do you hope President Barrow will contest next election? I tell the guy, why not? He said, why? I said, if we are guided by our constitution, and in the constitution of the Gambia, we don't have any term limit, unless if the constitution is changed. If the constitution is changed for a term limit that he used to serve 2 terms, then he has no mandate to serve a 3rd term. But as long as that it is not in the constitution, then he has the right to contest as any other Gambian as well.
As an individual, do you think the Gambia needs term limit?
Yeah, the Gambia, you know, when we also look at term limit and overstay in power, we need to balance the equation. Like if I know that I'm to stay only 2 terms, if the individual is a corrupt person, for example, he might say that now within these 2 years, I'm trying to get rid of myself. But if there is no term limit, for example, and people go to the ballot box, it is possible that the change of government might not even meet the person prepared to leave office, because the guy might with the hope that I'm still going to be in power. So he might not prepare to go out with any materials or not. But if I know that I'm spending only 2 years, Usman, I am leaving now, it is good. As long as it is worldwide recommended, it is fine for us to have a term limit. But that could also be a disadvantage of term limit as well.
So the draft constitution was rejected, reportedly rejected, mainly because of term limit.
Yeah, you know, if you look at the draft constitution, though it come at a time that we were not in parliament, that I wouldn't go far in that. But I always tell people that not everything in that constitution is bad. So we can look at it and have our sieve, and we sieve the constitution.
If it comes back to the parliament, are you going to vote for it?
Yeah, if it comes back to the parliament, we look at the issues that we feel that is going to affect the country, we debate over it. In fact, I was the very one who even asked the vice president, the current vice president, whether government has any plans of coming up with a new constitution. And the answer that he gave me was yes, they have plans of coming up with a new constitution. That we look at it, and if it is favorable to the people of Niani and also to the people of the Gambia and the people of Niani, I will definitely vote for it. As I always tell you, I love the people of Niani. So you can see that citing the country, I'm now telling you Niani as well.
And finally, what do you have for the people of Niani?
Yeah,
and Gambians at large?
The Gambians, the people of Gambians, I urge all Gambians for us to maintain peace. We cannot develop without peace. If there is no peace in the country, there will be no development. And I'm urging everyone, especially the youths. Usman, I will share my video with you. Urging all Gambians, especially the youths, the provincial youths, we go back to the land and continue farming on agriculture. And also we maintain peace. You know, right now, politics, when it comes to politics, let us know that sometimes they say it is a game. But it's not a game for us to build enemy, but it's a game for us to create a relationship. You can be supporting UDP, I can be supporting JDC, NPP, or any other party. But when it comes to election, we continue, go ahead with our political parties. Now, when election finished now, we focus on development. Whosoever is lucky to win, let's join the person and we give support for development. And for the entire people of Niani, as we said, it's a peaceful country. We still praying for the peace to continue to prevail in the entire country and also to prevail in Niani district. Not long ago, sometimes we do have these unusual attacks, which I even report to the Minister of Defense for us to see how best we can have, even if it is going to be a patrol team or a PIU come there, so as to help us in order to remedy the attacks that normally takes place in Niani.
Well, viewers, that would be the end of Preso Room today. But do follow us next Saturday for another interesting episode. Honorable, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Usman. Thank you so much.